Good day, folks. It's your favorite sociologist, and we are about to tackle another morsel of bovine excrement from the good old Huffington Post. So let's see what it is today. Biden rips Trump comments, sick and un-American. On the side here, Fox News confirms private Trump smears against members of the military. I don't know what exactly those are. That would be kind of bad. But again, this is a whole front page now, and we are going off of just a he said, she said type of story. Trump losing the military vote, a traditional Republican bloc. Be interesting to see what the numbers there say. They're not talking about how he's gaining among blacks on Huffpost, though. You're no patriot, retired general shreds Trump over losers and suckers. Again, Trump denied saying that. Trump's McCain defense gets immediately undone by one of his own tweets. Yeah, probably. Senator Tammy Duckworth appalled by Trump's reported comments denigrating fallen troops. So there's a whole front page dedicated to this comment. Again, it's he said, she said. What's the bigger news now? Like, it's not just what's going on. Yesterday, when I read the HuffPost article, I have a video on my other channel that talks about how the killer of the Trump supporter in Portland, who basically pulled up and executed him, was just killed. That was like within the hour. That was not yet up on Huffington Post. Still, they are not talking about that. There is not a peep. Riots have finally escalated to the point where this is an open shooting civil war because people are being targeted, from what we can tell, for their political leanings for murder. And that's not being mentioned. But Biden rips Trump, comments sick and un-American. I don't know if I'll make it all the way through this because it's probably going to be a lot of the same crap that I hit on yesterday that I'm going to have to repeat. Democratic nominee Joe Biden, damn it, went out, issued a fiery response Friday afternoon to recent reports that President Donald Trump disparaged fallen World War I soldiers as suckers and losers, along with his well-documented jabs against veterans and military family members. I am always cautioned not to lose my temper. This may be as close as I've come this campaign, Biden said during an address in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, he's threatened to beat up Trump before, so there's kind of a temper thing going on there. Biden called Trump's words deplorable and mentioned his own deceased son, Beau, whose political career overlapped with his military service. When my son was Assistant U.S. Attorney General and he volunteered to go to Kosovo while the war was going on as a civilian, he wasn't a sucker, Biden said. Now, wait a second. If he went to Kosovo, he might be a sucker. And I've got a lot to say about the Yugoslav war and what happened in '99. But a Clinton war, a Democratic war, that they bombed the last remaining socialist country in Europe. How are you going to defend that, lefties? When my son volunteered and joined the U.S. military as the Attorney General and went to Iraq for a year and won the Bronze Star and other commendations, he wasn't a sucker. The servicemen and women he served with, particularly those who did not come home, were not losers. So he's basically extrapolating what Trump said to all service members who have died. Now, in my family, my grandfather was 85% disabled. He was the only survivor of 5 brothers. 2 of his brothers were missing in action. 2 were killed in action during World War II. So I've had military deaths and invalids in my family. And that's not going to change my vote, you know. That's not going to make a difference because I'm concerned with policy. And I know Trump is a blowhard, and I know he sucks at being a decent person in public. We got to worry about policy right now and how real matters are going to be dealt with. The Atlantic reported in a story on Thursday that Trump called 1,800 deceased American soldiers suckers for getting killed. Sources told The Atlantic that when Trump canceled a visit to Anismaran American Cemetery near Paris in 2018, he asked why he would want to go to a cemetery filled with losers. The Associated Press, Washington Post, and Fox News confirmed details of the Atlantic's piece. So they confirmed details of the Atlantic's piece, like he might have been there in 2018, but they didn't confirm the allegations in the piece. So they're trying to make it sound like these other news agencies confirmed the story itself. And you got to watch out for exactly that kind of crap. Trump on Friday denied said allegations, calling it a fake story, but Biden believes the allegations to be true. If it is true, and based on the things he said, I believe the article is true, I would ask you all a rhetorical question. How would you feel if you had a kid in Afghanistan right now? How would you feel if you lost a son, daughter, husband, wife? How would you feel for real? I just answered that question, not a direct son, etc. But I would feel good because Trump was trying to get the troops out of Afghanistan and bring them home. Remember that? And who was stopping him? The Democrats. So if you've got a kid in Afghanistan, guess who's trying to bring him home? Trump, who never served in the military, has repeatedly denigrated American veterans and clashed with their families. He insulted the parents of Captain Hamyan Khan, a Muslim soldier killed during the Iraq War because they spoke out against Trump's proposed Muslim ban during the 2016 Democratic National Convention. It wasn't a Muslim ban. They were playing in Muslim countries that were not on the list, etc., etc. So that's another way that they just throw in a detail to make Trump look poopy. He publicly criticized late Senator John McCain as a loser. He was really mean to McCain because he was a prisoner of war and reportedly called President George H.W. Bush a loser for being shot down as a pilot during World War II. He criticized generals he reportedly didn't want amputees at a military parade, according to The Atlantic. That seems kind of screwed up. I did hear about that before. It would make sense that they would bring that up now, but let's finish it up. And although Trump publicly proclaims himself a close ally to the military, he's also limited certain duties as commander-in-chief. As Huffpost Svidate reported this week, Trump, it's dot, not dot day. E doesn't have the accentation on it. Reported this week, Trump stopped going to Dover Air Force Base to ceremoniously receive the bodies of fallen soldiers for nearly 2 years after the father of a fallen Navy SEAL berated him. And I explained this in the last video because it talked about this same thing. Okay, if you go there, you're going to produce an opportunity for yourself to be berated by other fallen soldiers' parents. If they don't berate you, then you have the military saying, oh, look at what a fascist, he's using dead soldiers as a photo op. See how he's fake with the military? And they've always been calling him a fascist that loves and fetishizes the military so much, and now they're going off on this angle about how he hates the military when there's a huge story about a guy who literally said that his bullet was the first bullet of a civil war. That's not important enough for you two to feature on your, not you two, but for you two to feature on the front of your page, like some other news sources happen to be doing? That's not important. This he said, she said crap is what's important. I'm sorry I'm getting pissed, but that's why I'm doing stuff on Huffpost, because they're fucking infuriating. You can count on one hand the number of times Donald Trump has been to Dover. John Soltz, a chairman of the progressive political group Vote Vets and an Iraq war veteran, told Dot. There's simply no bottom when it comes to what he'll lie about. I wish there was more outrage about Trump lying about the dignified transfer of the fallen for political reasons, because as a veteran, it really disgusts me. I don't hear where he was lying about the dignified transfer of the fallen, but Vote Vets issued a video response to the Atlantic article in which several family members of fallen soldiers said Trump has no right being commander-in-chief and that he doesn't know what it is to sacrifice. You can always find a few people of any group who are going to oppose or be in favor of anything. All the while, Trump claims he's a great supporter of the military, including by touting the Veterans' Choice Healthcare program. That program, however, was actually signed into law by President Obama and was written by McCain. While Trump has clashed with multiple veterans and military family members, his greatest feud has been with McCain. Yeah, he did have quite the feud. I like people who weren't captured, Trump said of McCain in 2015 when McCain died in August 2018. He referred to him yet again as a loser and became enraged when flags were lowered to half-staff. I don't know about the enragement at half-staff thing, but here they're quoting, what the fuck are we doing that for? Guy was a fucking loser, Trump reportedly told his aides. While Trump denied that he objected to lowering the flags, a former Department of Homeland Security official turned Trump critic confirmed the report on Friday. Now, I could do hours on cabinet members who Trump shouldn't have hired because you could always suspect that they were going to turn on him based on their policies and that the guy's essentially upending the Republican Party. That much you've got to freaking appreciate him for. Since when was the Republican Party the anti-war party? Trump did that. So, I mean, geez. That's why a lot of Bernie people, including myself, had sympathies to Trump. I didn't vote for him, but Very well made this time, as you've probably heard me say. Biden called Trump out for his consistent disrespect of McCain's military service. He's the same guy that denigrated John, Biden said. I think it's sick. I think it's deplorable. It's so un-American. It's so unpatriotic. Well, I'm sure not everything that Biden or his supporters or his staff have said about McCain is very flattering either. Given the amount of millennials that he probably has working overall and their general take on the military, I would say that a huge chunk of them probably don't have anything nice to say about anyone who's chosen to serve in the military, and they pay lip service to them because they feel they have to. But deep down, they really do hate him. A lot of these people vote Democrat regularly. I talk to them on a regular basis right here in good old Asheville. And anyway, it's very much, this one was kind of boring, honestly, because a lot of the same stuff was in yesterday's article. It was pretty much the same darn subject, and they're keeping alive another BS, he said, she said story when we should be talking about this guy who murdered somebody in a targeted killing on the street from the video, from what we can tell from the video, who then did not turn himself in, gave a Vice interview where he basically fluffed himself up. I think he did that because he knew he was going to get himself killed the next day, and he wanted to have himself a final little statement so that that would be what he died with, and it would very well trigger more riots. And the fact that he spoke of the start of a civil war, for crying out loud, that's not important enough. The first person killed solely for walking down the street with their political identification, that is not a story worth telling. Talking about the fact that he was killed, the fact that the guy who killed him was being investigated, and then there was a task force out for him, and he pulled a gun on them. Come on. And the fact that he proclaimed allegiance 100% Antifa, for crying out loud. Police your own. Of course, your goofy people aren't going to frickin' listen to the right-wing news when things happen. But for crying out loud, police your own. That's the only way these idiots will ever listen. But this cult-like mentality has everybody on the inside thinking, oh, well, we can't go ahead and criticize our own, and we don't accept criticism from them because of our very strong us-them in-group, out-group mentality. Therefore, you're conveniently always right and immune from any criticism whatsoever, because you don't accept that which people of your type don't deliver, and people of your type don't criticize people of your type. Great deal. That's how you always stay right. Please be open to criticism. Please be willing to grow. Thank you so much for bearing with me and my obvious moodiness in checking this article out. I appreciate your time, appreciate you tuning in, hope it was worth your while. Please click the like and subscribe buttons and the notification bell. It'll just let you know that my videos have popped up when a new one comes up, and if you don't like the first little bit of it, you can skip it or just ignore the notification. I'm sure you close down a lot of stuff on your phone. I know I do. Anyway, thanks again, appreciate your time. Please tune into the next video. I hope to see you there. Good night, good luck everyone, ta-ta, farewell, and be peaceful. Thanks.